And we're off! Welcome back, netizens, for the actual first episode of Factorio playthrough, WoodWorld. Now, for those of you who saw the 0th episode, I am currently giving myself a challenge to play the entire early game using nothing but wood for fuel. This is kind of silly, but I should be able to find coal deposits eventually, but after a run-through for a few minutes, I was unable to find any coal. So I'm just kind of making do right now. For the time being, what I'm doing, I've sped up the game to 2 times. That's why you see the game is going faster now. And now you can also hear the game music, which is kind of neat. Now what I'm currently doing is getting wood by clearing a path around a lake and killing 2 birds with 1 stone. In case anything happens, in case I decide to build something on the eastern side of the lake that I'm mowing around here, in case something happens with those biters, I want to be able to get to there immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that path around the lake. I'm going to get that raw wood, and about every 300 or so wood I pick up, I'm going to run back and I'm going to dump it immediately into the system. And that way I can keep things working fairly smoothly. This is going to be both for getting stone, for getting iron, and for getting copper. Now eventually, you see that there's going to be fish around here. The fish are great to pick up for healing. I don't get to that now, I do get to it a little later in this video. For anyone who is interested, by the way, in what I'm using to record with, I am actually playing on a Linux system. I am currently using Simple Screen Recorder to pick up both the game audio and graphics, and I'm currently recording using Audacity, recording my voice using Audacity. Now, what I need to do in order to be as efficient as possible, I'm going to pick up the fuel. I am going to only use as much fuel as necessary. Backtrack. What I mine is what I burn. I am the only power source my factory, my production system has to offer. It's just me and it's nothing else. So what I'm going to have to do is to pace my production, so that it doesn't go much faster than what I can chop down, because I don't want it to stop. Anyway, I'm running around here. I'm moving over to the iron and the copper areas. I'm going to set down my mine here. I'm going to begin that, since now that I have enough stone to be able to make as many burning miners and as many ovens as necessary for a little while. Chopping down more trees, exposing more of that iron ore. Listeners to the 0th episode will have immediately noticed that I accidentally said iron instead of coal, and for that I'm still kind of kicking myself for. Uploaded it and everything before I actually realized it. Oops. Still into this Let's Play thing. A lot of kinks to work out. Not worried about it. Pretty soon here I'm going to be turning on the pollution filter by using the Alt key. Yep, there we are. That little bit of red there is the pollution that I'm putting off. I want to make sure also that that is low enough so that doesn't expand over to either of the biter bases. I've got 2 nests around it, that big one over there to the west of me, and a little one over to the east. Both nests are not really that close, but it is close enough where if I start really pushing production right now, it's going to be a problem. I'm not going to have any way to defend myself from those biters that come in. When that cloud extends to them, they get triggered, they get angry, and like a great hand will come down to bust out anything that's producing pollution. Or kind of this insectoid Captain Planet, I guess? Yes, we are playing the enemy in a Captain Planet cartoon. Deal with it. Anyway, the iron is currently being mined up. It's being burned, it's being processed, and I'm going to go ahead and just continue getting wood. Copper is going to be going in a short while. Now, what I'm going to need to do with this wood calculation here, when I research steel, which will be fairly shortly, it's going to finish up next episode, I think. When steel finishes, I'll be able to get my steel axe. That'll allow me to get wood in the quickest way possible. And off of that, I'll be able to base how much power I'm able to produce cutting with my steel axe. Here I am running back over to the iron so that I can go ahead and make myself more axes, because with that breaking there, I'm no longer able to cut down trees that quickly. So I've got 5 of them just in case. I'm going to be chopping a lot. And then here I'm going to be getting a bit of copper. Making my first water pump. Crafting some pipes. Crafting some water boilers. Crafting steam engines. So I'm going to be making a rudimentary power system. It's going to be built to handle a lot more than what I'm capable of right now. It is going to be the maximum possible here shortly. Right now it's only 5, both in steam engines and in water boilers, but it will be more soon. The ratios, as has been told to me, is that each water pump can handle 14 boilers, and 14 boilers can feed up to 10 steam engines. So I'm going to be using that ratio. So I haven't had the chance to experiment with it to actually verify it. This is a fairly old ratio that I came across, definitely before the version 12 came out, 0.12. So maybe it's changed. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll be working with that for now. Anyway, now we do have another stone bit uncovered. That's okay. We'll be getting some more stone here to finish up, so that we can craft those 14 and 10. And after I get those 14 and 10, I'll be putting down a research laboratory. This is what I have to use for research. When I research that, I'm going to have to make my own research packs. I'm going to have to make my own science packs, craft them by hand for a while, until I get steel where I can mine more quickly. Again, it's all about that power. It's all about maximum power drawing potential. Oh, and there's my first fish. I pick up probably about 3 or 4 fishes, just in case spiders come in and start trying to wreck me. I have something to be able to boost my health back up again for a little bit. And that's 4. Now, my actual research goals, I am going for steel. I am shooting straight and dead on for steel as soon as possible. After I get that, I'll probably go for a little bit of defense first. I'll get some turrets, stock them, and then I'm going to try to shoot straight for solar power. When I get solar power, I will not have to rely nearly as much on wood anymore. I can start building those and crafting the solar panels, and that'll take care of at least my daily needs for factories and the like. That's going to be a bit of a ways off. I briefly consider moving the burners all the way back to the pump, but I decided against it at the last minute. I do kind of like having a space on the side to run through just in case things go awry. And not that tiny 1 square space, but a big old 9, 10 squares. Much wider, much easier to run through, just in case. Right, picking up yet more iron, yet more copper, and craft yet more things. I'm going to be getting some inserters, regular inserters. Yes, they do draw power, but it's not going to be a lot of power. Nothing to be hugely concerned about. And those are yellow belts, our slowest belts. We start off with those. And then I'm going to be beginning to put down a chest to hold down all that wood that I chopped down. Start one of the burners there, one of the boilers. And now the power is beginning. And now power will last for quite some time. There's a lot of wood that I threw in there. 6 stacks? 7 stacks? That's going to last us a bit. Now, granted, each of the boilers is going to be taking in 5 pieces of wood, which is going to eat up a stack all by itself just to prime the pump. But we're still going to have a lot left over. So here we are, our first and probably only research laboratory for quite some time is being crafted. And it's just, yes, it is ready. And now I'm going to be making science packs. What I really need to be doing in the next episode is to craft science packs all the time. When I'm not making anything else, just make science packs and just do it, craft them. They're going to get used anyway, and if I'm not making them, they're not getting consumed. Nothing new is being made. Not until I figure out just how much I can get away with as far as making all the prerequisites in that draw power. I do not want to draw a lot of power. And then I assume that yes, I am actually going to be going for automation. I will eventually need to make factories. I don't do it in this episode, but I will soon. And while I wait for the research to finish, I'm going to go ahead and get yet more trees because I need to fill up everything. I need to fill up the chests. I need to keep the ovens topped off. I need to keep the burners topped off. And so I'm just chopping away. Chopping away. So there's more science packs getting ready for the next piece of research. It's going to be logistics. I do like the idea of getting... What do I want to get? What does logistics give me? We'll see here. Underground belts, that's going to be nice. Fast inserters, that I'm not going to immediately go to, but it's something that I use a lot of later on. And finally, the belt splitters. Love belt splitters, especially for routing and combining some between those alone. That'll serve our future factory needs really well. Okay, so everything is crafted, and I'm just going to dump it all in. Let that go. And if I wanted to be efficient, I'd immediately begin working on my next set of items. I don't. I should start. I do plan on starting this next video. Okay, so everything is dropped in now. I am picking up everything. And why? Because I want to make electric mining drills. Yes, it's going to use some power, a fair amount of power, but I want to at least automate some stuff. If I'm going to be burning the wood one way or the other, I believe mining inserters, sorry, not mining inserters, electric mines, electric drills. Those should use less power, be less wasteful than just tossing down a burner drill and just tossing wood in it. I believe that's supposed to be the most efficient way. Anyway, so here I go ahead and put something in ready to throw the wood into so that everything gets burned in these ovens here. I can't really get around that until I get electric ovens, and that's going to be a long ways away because I need advanced circuits for that. I need red circuits for that. And for red circuits, I need coal. And here I realize a spacing mistake. What I want to do is have a space in between for poles so that eventually I can load in iron ore and wood as my fuel on one set of belts, and eventually output on a second belt headed north and east. Eventually. I saw this in a design from Bentham a while back, and I like the idea of it. It doesn't use a whole heck of a lot of power, and it does seem to be a little bit more of a vertical profile. If our main belt is going to be left-right, our burners are going to be up-down to feed into it. Vertical factories, as it were. We are not going to need near as much copper for the time being, so we're just going to throw down one mining drill and just have it go straight into a burner oven. We're not that concerned about it. I'll soon be setting up a chest to draw out from there, so that at the very least it's got, whenever everything hits 100, the oven holds only 100 plates of iron. Not of iron. Well, also of iron. Not just iron, but also copper. Holds 100 is what I'm saying. So I finished that up. I put down the last belt because I'm used to a different version. I'll explain more later. And then I begin crafting yet more red science packs, which I should have done a couple of minutes ago. And when those finish, I'll go ahead and drop those into the research lab, the science lab. It's amazing how the same potion ends up being used for completely different modes of research. At first we started in trying to get things to different places, and now we're trying to practice metallurgy. Logistics versus metallurgy? Not nearly the same kind of brain power needed for that. But, it's hand-waving, it's magic. A wizard did it. It's game programming. It's an unnecessary simplification. It would be interesting to maybe if someone in the future were to have different kinds of scientists doing different kinds of research, as opposed to just kind of throwing a big old chunk over it and saying, it's all knowledge. So I drop them in, and we are done. See you next time.